The Kutupalong refugee camp in Bangladesh is just across the river from the home of the Rohingya. The Myanmar military has driven nearly 1 million Rohingya to this camp.
Textbook ethnic cleansing.
The international community has condemned the government for the violence against Rohingya civilians that amounted to what the United Nations termed as ethnic cleansing.
Every woman or girl I spoke with reported having either endured or witnessed sexual violence.
It is imperative that the international community take decisive measures to address this grave crisis.
Most have little or nothing to go back to. Their homes and villages have been destroyed.
We are struggling. We need resources fast.
It's a humanitarian crisis, only made worse by the monsoon rains. The Rohingya here are caught in limbo. They cannot have jobs, there are no schools, there are few sources of information. They sit idle, unhappy, and largely dependent on aid supplied by international governmental and non-governmental organizations who have sent good people to help.
One child.
But besides those who bring relief, others are drawn to the camps to take advantage of the crisis. As so often happens, the victims are victimized a second time. Most vulnerable are women and young girls who are targeted by traffickers to be lured or taken and used for forced labor or sex.
I discovered traffickers after sunset. 5 o'clock, there is no foreigners and no locals allowed.
I met with a human rights activist in nearby Cox's Bazar. Ali Kabir had worked in agriculture his whole life. He says he could no longer remain silent while others were suffering at the hands of some Rohingya who themselves had fled years before.
Only old Rohingyas, those who are registered here since 1978, 1991, old Rohingyas, they are staying in Bangladesh, they know everything. They know every rules, they are very familiar with Bangladesh culture. Human traffickers hiding them. And they go inside the camp and talk with the families, convince them that they were going to provide a good job, better future, better life abroad, and better opportunities like this.
So the people that are involved in the trafficking are Rohingyas who have been here in Bangladesh long before the latest exodus of Rohingyas from Myanmar?
Yep.
So you're talking the population that's doing the trafficking are Rohingya who have been here in Bangladesh for a number of years.
Yes, they are become a broker of the big trafficking network.
How do they get the women out of the camps? Because the Bangladesh government won't let the Rohingyas leave the camps. I mean, the Rohingyas who came over from Myanmar in the last year and a half can't leave the camps. So how do the brokers get them out of the camps?
Well, ma'am, I tell you, here in Bangladesh have no system in checkpost. In checkpost, they check only Bangladesh NID card, national ID card, and the human traffickers obtain fake national ID card.
He also showed me pictures of the women he says were victims.
So she's Rohingya.
Yes.
From the refugee camp, and they were going to sell her or bring her out of the country.
Yes.
What was she getting paid? Do you know? And what was the offer?
Offer was providing her in a beauty parlor job abroad, Malaysia, Thailand, and providing her, in a job in a factory.
Did you ever speak to her parents or her family?
Yeah, I speak to her parents. They was very in shock after they learned a real story, real thing.
So they thought it was a legitimate deal that she was going overseas for this career?
Yes.
Did any of them get emotional?
They just requested me not to tell this thing to the other people because her future will be dark.
Future in terms of getting a husband or future employment?
Not husband.
Husband, really?
And, husband, and the community will not let them live in peace.
So it's a very much a cultural thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the people were going to insult them, they will not get a well respect, and they will not get sitting with the other relatives. They're going to hate her. They will look at her in a very, in a bad eyes.
Are Rohingya families protesting about this or complaining? Are they saying anything if a member of their family, goes off into some sex trade?
Well, ma'am, where they're going to protest? There is no any proper place where they can go submit a complaint, where they can go seek a legal process, where they can go seek justice, where they can go.
I was in a forced marriage for 8 months. I was told the army could take me away by force. It would be better if I got married in order to save my honor. Since my mother is blind, she agreed to marry me off. We had just arrived in Bangladesh for the first time. We didn't know anything about the place. We didn't know the laws or the rules. We came here with a lot of fear from all the violence.
They are very helpless, hopeless. There was no police. They are in the camp, nothing, and there was, in a fair, and they given the daughter to him.
So she goes with him. Was she crying or screaming or upset or agreeable? I mean, what?
She don't want it to him.
I was so fearful. I'm just a teenager. But they grabbed my neck and I was so scared. That's why I was crying a lot. I was so upset. My mom said God has not given permission. But those people said it was God's will to get married to that man. My mom turned to me and told me to just accept my fate.
And where he can go ask protection. And the parents said, I'm sorry, we are helpless. He is going to kill us and we have to give my daughter to him.
This man came and took her, and I guess took her, is that for sex?
Marry her.
Or this would be wife number 3.
Yeah, marry her. Later, when the first wife pressuring him, he let her.
So he let her go?
Let her go. This Rohingya girl have no value.
No value?
No value.
Because she's Rohingya?
Yes.
0?
0.
And there's something else the Rohingya here don't talk about. When the Burmese military attacked, they didn't just kill and set houses on fire. They raped. And the victims of those rapes are here now. They face a terrible stain that their own culture puts on them and on their newborns.
We're seeing a lot of women that are coming in right about now that have voiced to us that the babies are a result of rape.
Sarah Rawlings is a nurse from Seattle, Washington. She both treats and counsels the victims. The challenges she faces are heartbreaking.
It's really hard one. We've seen some pretty dire things happen as a result of unwanted pregnancies.
Are the women having babies in their homes?
Yeah, many of the women are having babies in their homes. I'd say the majority are having babies in their homes and are not coming in here. Just the other week, one of our community health workers found a baby that had been left in a latrine, was still alive, but covered in feces. They've been actually trying to track down and find the woman, but since the baby has been taken in to another organization and they're feeding the baby and trying to offer support and find community members that can help raise the child.
So they expect this child to survive, that was found in the feces in the latrine.
I believe the child right now is at a Doctors Without Borders hospital.
Is that an unusual situation? Are you finding other situations where women are trying to either terminate their pregnancies or having difficult births, or are you finding more of that?
We're seeing more and more, and we've had several, probably 20 plus women that I've spoken with since I've been here that have told me they want to terminate their pregnancy and that they don't want the child and that the child is a result of rape.
Rohingya culture is very complicated. Even the rape victims, those who have been raped by Myanmar military, you know what they say? Oh, she have a evil in her belly. Stay away from her.
If you've been raped by the Myanmar
military, they were saying evil in her belly, stay away from her. I want to talk with one pregnant from the rape. Other Rohingyas advising me, sir, please don't talk to her. She have an evil in her belly.
What happens after the baby's born?
She have no place in the society of Rohingya.
Zero, none.
Zero, yes. Her life is dark, and everybody comes to know. A lot of Rohingya girls, those who have been raped by the Myanmar military, they're hiding. They're hiding, they're suffering quietly, silently. They don't want to expose, they don't want to say, they don't want to say nothing.
So what do we do? What can we do? What's next for the 1 million people who seem to want little more than to go home?